Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today we are here on the Hunter Call of the Wild, and we're going to be doing a ranking of all 14 maps from worst to best. So I've been meaning to do this for quite some time now. I'm just now getting around to actually doing it. So the maps here in the game are Hirschfelden, Layton Lakes, Medved Taiga, Vurhonga Savanna, Parque Fernando, Yukon Valley, Cuatro Colinas, Silver Ridge Peaks, Awaroa, Rancho Del Arroyo, Mississippi Acres, Revontuli Coast, New England Mountains, and then Emerald Coast. So those are all 14, and yeah, I'm just going to rank them from worst to best, giving my opinion. I'm going to try and keep my rankings to like under a minute or so for each map, just so I'm not rambling on for 5 minutes about each one. So yeah, we're not going to waste any more time here. Let's go ahead and jump right in. Starting us off here at number 14, I have Parque Fernando. I've honestly just never been the biggest fan of Parque. It's one of those maps that, as you can see, is super thick, and I'm just not a fan of really thick maps. I prefer maps that'll have like some thickness to them, but also some really open areas, which Parque does have some open areas, but they're just not as good as some of the other maps that we have here in the game. Now, there are some pretty cool species out here, like the black buck, the water buffalo. I really enjoy hunting red deer and mule deer, which you can find on other maps. But yeah, we actually just did a black buck grind the other day to try and find a diamond, which I didn't have, and then we ended up getting one. That was a really fun grind. But other than that, yeah, the map itself just isn't that good in my opinion, but the species, they are pretty cool. So that's really all I have to say about it. I'm going to try and keep these, like I said, just as short as possible. So let's go ahead and jump into number 13. So coming in at number 13, I have got Mississippi Acres. This is another map that is just super thick. You can see we have these cotton fields here that are really thick. We have some feral pigs up ahead. And then we also have the forests, which are also just super thick. And I almost gave Mississippi the number 14 spot, but I don't hunt Mississippi, or I don't hunt Parque as much as I hunt Mississippi. So that's why I decided to go ahead and give it the 13. Plus, Mississippi has alligators, which are just so fun to hunt. I think it's a really cool concept, and I just love hunting them. Plus, when Emerald Coast came out, they gave the alligators more aggression, and that just made them 100 times better. At number 12, we have the New England Mountains. New England is another map that is very thick, and it might actually be the thickest in the game. You do have some fields down here, but for the most part, it is just trees and mountains, hence the name the New England Mountains. But a thing that I didn't like when this map came out was that we didn't get any new species. Well, you could technically consider the bobcat different than the Mexican bobcat, but they have the same rare fur types and the same trophy scores and everything, but they are technically considered a different animal. But for the most part, all the species that we saw on this map were just reused from different maps, like whitetail, black bear, moose, etc. It was kind of disappointing, honestly, that there were no like new diamonds to go after, which is something I really look forward to when we do get new maps. But one thing I will say about this map that kind of puts it at the number 12 spot is just how beautiful it is. It is just such a gorgeous map, and they just really put a lot of effort into it, which is something that I do like. Like, if I was ranking these based off how they look, this would be number 1 for sure. At number 11, I have got Layton Lakes. So Layton alongside Hirschfelden are the two maps that you get for free when you download the game. So when I first started playing, these were the only two that I had. I didn't buy DLCs for the longest time, so I was playing Layton constantly, and there's just a lot of nostalgia to that, and I think that's why I just continue to keep coming back. It's not necessarily because the map is great, but it's just the nostalgia and the great memories I did have. But there's also some pretty cool species out here that I really do like the Roosevelt elk and the black-tailed deer, which in my opinion, they honestly both need a new map at some point, sooner rather than later. We just mentioned it a little bit ago, but at number 10, I have got Hirschfelden. Hirschfelden is one of the maps, like I said, that you do get for free when you download the game, and at one point, it would have been ranked at the very bottom of my list. I just did not like Hirschfelden. I loved hunting European bison, but that was about it. It's just super thick, honestly. Lots of brush, it's just hard to navigate through, and it's really challenging to hunt at times. But over the last year or so, I've actually really grown to like Hirschfelden, and that's why I decided to go ahead and put it in my top 10. It's not the greatest map ever, but it certainly isn't terrible like I thought it was in the past. Speaking of maps that I really didn't start to enjoy until here recently, number 9, Rancho Del Arroyo. I don't hunt this map all the time. It's not one that I'll go out to every week and do a hunt on, but when I do get out here, I enjoy myself quite a bit. I love hunting the pheasants, the bighorn sheep, even the mule deer are pretty fun to hunt out here. But the thing that really made this map a little bit better in my opinion was the addition of the pronghorn. I don't remember exactly when they were added, but I feel like that was just a missing piece of this map, honestly. But yeah, I really don't have a lot to say about this one. I just enjoy hunting it from time to time. It's just a really solid map in my opinion. This is where it started getting difficult to rank some of the maps here in the game, but here at number 8, we have Cuatro Colinas. Now Cuatro, I really like this map a lot. You've got open fields like this where you can just see everything that is going to be out here, but then you've also got areas where it can be pretty thick. And like I said, I don't care if the map is got certain areas where it's thick, I just don't want the entire map to be covered in trees. But it's got some really cool species out here as well that you're not going to find on any other maps, like the ibex, Iberian mouflon, and the Iberian wolves. And wolf hunting is some of my favorite stuff here in the game. There's nothing like getting a pack to go aggressive on you and then trying to take all of them down. It can be very challenging sometimes, but also just very fun. So at number 7 we have Awaroa. Now Tay might have one of my favorite species list here in the entire game. For example, we have fallow deer, sika deer, red deer, feral goat, even chamois. Now unfortunately the chamois don't have their drink time anymore, so you have to find them up in the mountains in their feeding time, but that's honestly kind of fun just trying to find them. And this map might honestly be the best one for grinding if you're trying to find a diamond, or even a great one from the fallow deer or red deer. It's just super easy to set up on, the lakes aren't super big, plus the animals, they're not all over the place. For instance, fallow deer and red deer, they're only on the right half of the map here. Here at number 6, I have got Medved taiga. I remember I bought it, played it for a little while, and then just never touched it again because I didn't like it for some reason. I don't know if maybe it was because there was only 6 species out here, there wasn't a lot to hunt, or maybe it was because it was an all snow map and it just took getting used to or something like that. But anyway, eventually I did start playing it again and realized it's actually a pretty great map, and then they ended up adding the wolves and the capercaillies, which made it just even better. I do hope in the future though they add maybe 2 or 3 more species just to make things hopefully even better. Like, I think there is room to add more animals here in the future, and that might make it slide into the top 5 honestly. And finally here in the top 5 we have Yukon Valley. Yukon was one of my go-to maps when I first started buying DLCs. I just love this map so much. The terrain when it would change from grass to snow was just always so cool to me, and I wish they would incorporate that into other maps in the future potentially. And then the species out here, I really love hunting grizzly bears, and we have one right there. Level 4, 55 to 60. But you've got wolves, and like I said with Cuatro, hunting wolves, having them go aggressive, is fun and challenging at the same time. It's just a blast. And then caribou, also really fun to hunt out here on Yukon Valley. Now here at number 4 we have Revontuli Coast. Revontuli has the most species on a map, coming in at 19, most of those being birds. Now I wasn't the biggest fan of bird hunting when Revontuli came out, but that honestly changed once I started hunting them more and more. Now that's more upland birds than duck hunting. I'm still not the biggest fan of duck hunting, but I really love hunting the capercaillies, the black grouse, ptarmigan, stuff like that. I do wish maybe there was some more bigger game here on this map, because I am more of a big game hunter, but I do understand why they did more birds, because 19 animals, having them all big game would be absolutely insane. But this map overall is just the perfect balance of open space and then also forest. Like, I know down here it can be a bit thick at times, but for the most part I actually really enjoy it. Number 3 is Emerald Coast, the newest map in Call of the Wild, and it immediately jumped into my top 3, honestly. It is just such a good map. It's what I've wanted for the longest time. There was 2 maps I wanted here in the game, Australia and Africa 2.0, and so far we have Australia now, and it's just a fantastic map. You've got kangaroos, bantang, roosa deer, sandbar deer, saltwater crocodiles. All of those are just fantastic additions to the game, and are the reason I just enjoy the map so much. And the map itself is also pretty good, can be a bit thick in some areas, but overall the hunting is fantastic. So at number 2 we have Silver Ridge Peaks. SRP will probably always be in my top 3 honestly. I've just always loved this map so much, between the terrain and just the species themselves. They're always so fun to hunt. Now one thing I will say, I do think it would benefit from having a couple more species added onto it in the future, whether they're backfilled from other maps or maybe they bring in new species. I do think that is something that needs to happen. And finally at the number 1 spot we have Vurhonga Savanna. Vurhonga has been my number 1 map for quite some time now. It is just completely wide open. You do have like the forest over here kind of on the left side of the map as well as along the coast, but for the most part you're going to be able to see a lot of things at a very far distance. It's got species that you're not going to find on other maps as well, unless we got in Africa 2.0. You've got lions, blue wildebeest, gemsbok, all that stuff, and it's just so fun, honestly, to hunt exotic animals like that, and I really hope, like I said, in the future we do get an Africa 2.0 at some point. But yeah, that is pretty much going to do it here for my Call of the Wild map rankings. It took forever, it felt like, to record all this, but I really do hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, let me know down in the comments and list your top 5 favorite maps in the game if you want to. You can list all 14 in order if you want to, it really doesn't matter. I'd really like to hear what maps you like though. But yeah, that's pretty much going to do it here for me. So I really do hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, don't forget to like and subscribe. Do all that stuff, it really does help out the channel, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye bye.